For years, I was afraid to speak English. Every mistake felt like failure. But the day I stopped caring about mistakes, everything changed. My words flowed, my confidence grew, and for the first time, I felt free in English. If you're tired of fear holding you back, this story will show you how I turned mistakes into my greatest teacher, and how you can do the same. Part 1. Hello, my friend, and welcome. Today I want to share a story that will help you learn English, speak English confidently, and improve your English fast. It's a story that is also a lesson because it's about me and about how I changed my way of thinking. When I changed my thinking, my English fluency improved faster than I ever imagined. The big secret? I stopped caring so much about mistakes. That was the moment my English confidence grew fast. And today, I want to show you how you can do the same. Maybe you feel nervous when you speak English. Maybe your hands shake. Maybe your heart beats very fast when you open your mouth. Maybe you worry, what if I say it wrong? What if people laugh at me? What if they don't understand me? My friend, you are not alone. Every English learner feels this at some point. I felt the same. I was so afraid of making mistakes that I stayed quiet. I wanted perfect English. I wanted every word to be correct. But here is the truth. That thinking kept me stuck. That thinking killed my confidence. One day, I decided to change. I told myself, from now on, I don't care about mistakes. I only care about communicating. I only care about speaking. And guess what? That simple decision made my English fluency grow faster than any grammar book, faster than any vocabulary list, and faster than any traditional English lesson. Because the moment I stopped caring about mistakes, I started practicing. I started speaking more. I started enjoying English. Let's imagine a small situation. Picture this. You are in a coffee shop. You want to order a coffee in English. Your grammar is not perfect. Your vocabulary is limited. You feel shy. If you care too much about mistakes, you will probably say nothing. You will stay quiet, maybe point at the menu, maybe hope the barista understands. But if you stop caring about mistakes, you will open your mouth. You will say, "Hello, I want coffee, please." Maybe the grammar is not perfect. Maybe it should be, "I would like a coffee." But does it matter? Number. The barista understands you. You get your coffee. You communicated successfully. That is English fluency. When I finally understood this, my confidence grew. I realized English is not about perfection. English is about connection. English is about sharing your ideas, your feelings, your needs. And every time I opened my mouth, even with mistakes, my English improved. I learned new words. I practiced my pronunciation. I discovered better ways to say things. Here is a small challenge for you. I want you to try this today. Say one sentence in English out loud to another person. It can be a shopkeeper, a friend, a teacher, or even a stranger online. But here is the rule. Do not think about mistakes. Just speak. For example, if you go to the market, you can say, "How much this apple?" Maybe it's not perfect grammar. Maybe you should say, "How much is this apple?" But the person will understand. You will practice. You will gain confidence. This is the secret I wish I knew earlier. Mistakes are not your enemy. Mistakes are your teacher. Mistakes are the road to fluency. Think about a baby learning to walk. Do they walk perfectly the first time? Number. They fall again and again. They make mistakes with every step. But do they stop? No. They keep going. And soon they can walk. Later they can run. English learning is the same. When you stop caring about mistakes, your brain relaxes. You can focus on communication. You can enjoy the conversation. And guess what? People respect you more when you try, even with mistakes, than when you stay silent. Native speakers don't expect perfection. They just want to understand you. So let me ask you, are you ready to stop caring so much about mistakes? Are you ready to open your mouth, to take the risk, to practice English in real life? Because when you do, you will see what I saw. Your English confidence will grow. Your English fluency will improve. And you will finally feel free to use English every day. But here is something interesting. When I stopped caring about mistakes, something surprising happened. Not only did my speaking improve fast, but my listening also improved. I began to understand more. Do you want to know why? That's what we'll talk about in the next part. Part 2. In the last part, I told you how my English confidence grew fast when I stopped caring about mistakes. But something else happened that I did not expect. My listening skills also improved. At first, I didn't understand why, but later, I realized the reason. When I cared too much about mistakes, my brain was always busy. I was constantly thinking, is my grammar correct? Is my pronunciation okay? What if I say the wrong word? My head was full of worries, and because of that, I couldn't really listen. I couldn't focus on the other person because I was too busy judging myself. When I stopped caring so much about mistakes, my mind became free. Suddenly, I could listen better. I could hear how native speakers used words. I could catch new phrases. I could notice intonation, rhythm, and pronunciation. It was like a door opened, and that door helped me improve English fast. I remember talking with a friend who was a native English speaker. Before, I would always think, oh no, I must answer perfectly. I must sound smart. I must avoid mistakes. So while my friend was speaking, I wasn't really listening. I was only preparing my answer, and I missed half of what he said. But when I relaxed and didn't care so much about mistakes, I started to really listen. My friend said, I'm gonna grab some lunch. Before, I never noticed that phrase, but in that moment, I heard it clearly. I thought, oh, that's how they say it. Not, I am going to eat lunch, but I'm gonna grab some lunch. That was real English. That was natural English. And I learned it because I was listening with open ears. This is why I want you to try something simple. The next time you watch a video in English or listen to someone speak, don't worry about understanding every single word. Don't pause every 5 seconds. Don't get angry if you miss something. Just relax. Let the words come to you. Notice the sound. Notice the rhythm. If you catch one new phrase, celebrate it. That is how you improve listening and speaking together. Another big change happened when I stopped caring about mistakes. People started talking to me more. Before, when I was nervous and silent, people thought I didn't want to talk. But when I relaxed and just spoke, even with mistakes, people opened up. They smiled. They continued the conversation. And every conversation gave me more practice. For example, imagine this small dialogue. You say, "Hello, I want practice English with you." Your friend answers, "Sure, let's talk. What do you want to talk about?" You say, maybe, "Food. I like pizza." Your friend replies, "Oh, me too." "What's your favorite topping?" And you say, "I like chicken and cheese." The grammar is not perfect, but it's real communication. And from just this short exchange, you practice vocabulary, listening, pronunciation, and confidence. This is how you learn English in real life. Fear of mistakes is the biggest wall between you and English fluency. But here is the truth. Mistakes don't stop your progress. Fear does. Fear keeps your mouth closed. Fear keeps your brain stressed. Fear steals your opportunities to practice. Once you let go of fear, your English grows naturally. Even native speakers make mistakes in their own language. They say the wrong word. They forget grammar. They start a sentence and then change it. But they don't stop talking. They keep going. Why? Because their goal is communication, not perfection. You must think the same way. Here's something I want you to try. Record yourself speaking English for 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Talk about your day, your hobbies, or what you ate for breakfast. Don't stop to correct yourself. Don't delete it. Later, listen to it and notice something positive. Maybe your pronunciation was clear. Maybe you used a new word. Celebrate that, instead of focusing only on mistakes. This exercise will make you fearless. When I started doing this, I noticed my voice became stronger. At first, I hated hearing myself. I thought, "Oh no, I sound terrible." But slowly, I got used to my voice. I learned to love the sound of my English, and that gave me more confidence to speak with others. So remember this: the key to learning English, to speaking English confidently, and to improving English fast is not avoiding mistakes. It's embracing them. It's speaking anyway. It's listening with open ears. It's practicing every day without fear. And here is something even more powerful. Mistakes are not only something you can accept, they can actually become your most powerful teacher. Do you want to know how? That's exactly what I'll share with you in the next part. Part 3. In the last part, I told you that mistakes can actually become your most powerful teacher. And this is true. Let me explain why. When you make a mistake, you create an opportunity. You give yourself a moment to learn something new. Without mistakes, there is no growth. Think about it. If you always said every word perfectly, if you always used every grammar rule correctly, you wouldn't be learning. You would already be fluent. Mistakes show you where you can grow. They shine a light on the next step you need to take. I remember one time when I was speaking with a colleague. I wanted to say, "I have been working here for 2 years," but instead I said, I am working here since 2 years. My colleague smiled kindly and repeated back, "Oh, you mean I have been working here for 2 years?" In that moment, I felt a little embarrassed, but at the same time, I learned something important. I learned the correct structure, and because I made the mistake myself, I remembered it much more deeply than if I had just read it in a grammar book. That mistake became a lesson. This is why I want you to change the way you see mistakes. Instead of saying, "Oh no, I made a mistake," start saying, "Great, I found a chance to improve." Every mistake is like a free lesson, and the more you practice, the more mistakes you will make. But that also means the more lessons you will collect. So instead of being afraid of mistakes, you should actually welcome them. Let's make this real with a small challenge. The next time you have a conversation in English, I want you to write down one mistake you notice. It doesn't matter if it's grammar, pronunciation, or vocabulary. After the conversation, look at it. Think about how to say it better next time. Then, forget about the embarrassment. Move on. When you meet the same situation again, you will be ready. This way, your mistakes slowly build your fluency. Here's another example from my own learning. I once said to a friend, "I very like this movie." My friend laughed a little and said, "Oh, in English we say, 'I really like this movie.'" I never forgot that. If I had waited until I knew the perfect grammar before speaking, I would never have made that mistake, and I also would never have learned the right way so strongly. Making the mistake first made the correction more powerful. You see, mistakes connect your brain to real experience. Reading grammar rules is useful, but it's often dry and boring. When you connect a mistake to a real conversation, to a real laugh, or even to a small moment of embarrassment, your brain remembers it more clearly. That memory becomes stronger, and that is how you improve English fast. Think of mistakes as stepping stones across a river. If you are afraid to step because you might slip, you will never reach the other side. But if you step, even if you slip, you can correct yourself and keep going. Each step, each mistake, takes you closer to English fluency. Now, let's practice together. Imagine you want to ask someone the time. You might say, "What time now?" That's a mistake, because the correct way is, "What time is it now?" But here's the important part. Even with the mistake, people will understand you. They might answer, "It's 3 o'clock." And in that moment, you have achieved communication. You got the information you wanted. And if someone corrects you, now you also learned the correct form. That's a double win. When you start to see mistakes as part of the process, you stop feeling ashamed. You stop feeling blocked. Instead, you feel motivated because every conversation becomes a practice session. Every sentence is a chance to learn. And this is how you build English confidence step by step. But you may ask, how can I practice more so I can make mistakes, learn, and grow? That is an excellent question, because practice is the real engine of English fluency. And in the next part, I will show you the best ways to practice English every day, even if you don't live in an English-speaking country. Part 4. In the last part, we talked about how mistakes are your best teacher. But mistakes can only teach you if you practice. Practice is the engine of English fluency. Without practice, your English will stay the same. With practice, your English will grow fast. The problem is, many learners think practice means sitting with a grammar book or memorizing long vocabulary lists. But real practice means using English. Real practice means speaking, listening, reading, and writing in real situations, not just in your head. I know many learners feel stuck because they don't live in an English-speaking country. Maybe you think, I don't have friends who speak English. I don't have a chance to practice. But let me tell you something. Today, with technology, with the internet, with social media, you have endless opportunities to practice English every single day. You just need to be creative and brave. One of the best ways I practiced was by talking to myself. Yes, talking to myself. It may sound funny, but it works. For example, if I was cooking, I would describe what I was doing in English. I would say, now I cut the onion. Now I put oil in the pan. Now I mix the rice. Nobody corrected me, but it didn't matter. I was training my brain to think in English. I was practicing fluency. You can try this too. Describe your actions, your plans, or your feelings in English. This simple exercise will make your brain more comfortable with English. Another powerful method is to use online communities. Today, you can join English groups on Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, or many other platforms. You can find language partners on apps like HelloTalk or Tandem. Even if you only send voice messages or short texts, you are practicing real communication. And remember, don't be afraid of mistakes. That is where the learning happens. I also used YouTube as a practice tool. I didn't just watch videos, I talked back to them. For example, if I watched an interview in English, I would pause and try to answer the same question myself. If someone said, "What's your favorite hobby?" I would pause and say, "My favorite hobby is reading." I like reading books because it helps me relax. In this way, I wasn't only listening, I was also speaking. This is a great exercise you can try with this video right now. Pause after my questions and answer them in English. That's real practice. Let me give you a small challenge. Today, after this video, I want you to choose one activity where you can practice speaking for at least 5 minutes. It can be talking to yourself, talking to a friend, or recording your voice. But here is the rule. Do not stop to correct yourself. Just keep talking. Even if you make mistakes, keep going. After 5 minutes, you will feel stronger. Your confidence will grow. Practice is not only about speaking. Listening is also important. You can listen to podcasts, songs, or audiobooks in English every day. Even if you don't understand everything, your ears will get used to the sound of English. Over time, your brain will recognize patterns, rhythm, and common phrases. This natural listening will improve your fluency faster than memorizing word lists. Reading is another kind of practice that works well. But here is the secret. Don't read boring textbooks. Read things you enjoy. If you like sports, read about sports in English. If you like cooking, read recipes in English. When you read something you love, you stay curious. You look for meaning naturally. That is how you learn vocabulary fast. Writing is also useful, even short writing. You don't need to write essays or long reports. You can write a daily journal in English. Just 3 sentences about your day. Today, I woke up early. I went to school. I ate chicken for lunch. That's enough. This small habit builds fluency step by step. Remember, fluency is not built in one day. It grows through small daily actions. If you practice 5, 10, or 15 minutes a day, your English will improve. You don't need hours of study. You just need consistency. And every mistake you make in practice becomes a lesson. So now you know how to practice, even if you don't live in an English-speaking country. But practice alone is not enough. You also need the right mindset. In the next part, I will share with you the mindset shift that made my English confidence unstoppable. Part 5. Now that you know how to practice, let's talk about mindset. Mindset is the way you think about yourself, about English, and about learning. Many learners have the wrong mindset, and that mindset keeps them stuck. For a long time, I had this problem too. I believed that English fluency was about perfection. I believed that if I didn't speak perfectly, people would laugh at me or judge me. That mindset made me nervous and silent. But when I changed my mindset, my English confidence grew fast. The first big change was this. I started to see English as a tool, not as a test. A test makes you nervous. A test makes you focus only on mistakes. But a tool helps you build something. When I saw English as a tool, I used it to connect with people, to share ideas, and to enjoy life. It wasn't about being perfect anymore. It was about being real. And this change made me feel free. The second mindset shift was about identity. Before, I thought, I am not good at English. English is not my language. I can never sound fluent. But then I realized every time I speak English, even with mistakes, I am an English speaker. Fluency is not about waiting until you are perfect. Fluency is about using the language you have today. So I started to say to myself, I am an English speaker. That gave me power. It gave me confidence to practice more. And the more I practiced, the better I became. Another important mindset change was how I saw failure. Before, every mistake felt like failure. If I used the wrong word, I felt ashamed. If someone didn't understand me, I felt small. But now, I see mistakes as steps on the journey. I don't call them failures anymore. I call them lessons. Every lesson brings me closer to fluency. This mindset made me stronger, because now, when I make a mistake, I smile and keep going. I want you to try something right now. Say out loud, I am an English speaker. Even if you are still learning, even if you make mistakes, say it, feel it, believe it. Because when you believe it, you start to act like it. And when you act like it, your English fluency grows. Here's a story that changed me. One day, I was at a small event with international people. Everyone was speaking English. I wanted to join, but my brain said, don't do it. You will make mistakes. Then I remembered my new mindset. I thought, I don't care about mistakes. I am an English speaker. I will join. So I jumped into the conversation. I said something simple. I like this event. It is very nice. My grammar was basic, but the people smiled. They answered me. We kept talking. By the end of the night, I had spoken with 3 new friends. If I had waited for perfect English, I would have missed that chance. This is why mindset is so powerful. It opens doors. It gives you courage. It pushes you to practice. And practice brings results. Without the right mindset, even the best study methods will not work. But with the right mindset, even simple practice becomes powerful. Now, here is a challenge for you. I want you to write down 3 new mindset rules for yourself. For example, I don't care about mistakes. I am an English speaker. English is my tool to connect. Put these rules on your wall, on your desk, or on your phone. Read them every day. They will remind you to stay confident. Mindset also helps with motivation. Sometimes you will feel tired. Sometimes you will feel lazy. Sometimes you will think, I don't want to practice today. That is normal. But your mindset will push you. If your mindset is strong, you will keep going even on difficult days. And that consistency is what builds fluency. So now you understand the importance of mindset. But mindset alone is not enough. You also need real strategies to use English in daily life. In the next part, I will show you how I built small English habits every day and how those habits made my English confidence grow even faster. Part 6. In the last part, we talked about mindset and how it changes everything. But mindset is only the beginning. To really grow your English confidence, you need habits. Habits are the small actions you repeat every day without thinking too much. And when you build strong English habits, your fluency improves almost automatically. For me, habits were the key to making English part of my life, not just a subject I studied. At first, I thought I needed big study sessions. I thought, if I don't study 2 hours a day, I won't improve. But that plan never worked. I was too busy, too tired, or too distracted. Then I realized something important. Small habits are more powerful than big plans. 10 minutes every day is better than 2 hours once a week. Daily practice builds fluency step by step, and it feels easy. One of my first habits was listening to English every morning. I didn't sit down with a book. I just played a short podcast while making breakfast. Sometimes I didn't understand everything, but that didn't matter. My ears were hearing English sounds every day. Slowly, my listening improved. I began to catch common phrases like, you know, kind of, or I guess. These small phrases later helped me sound more natural when speaking. Another habit I built was reading one short text in English every night before bed. It could be a blog post, a short story, or even social media comments. I didn't choose boring material. I chose things I actually liked. Some nights, I only read for 5 minutes. But that small action gave me new words, new ideas, and more comfort with English sentences. Speaking was the most important habit I created. Every day I gave myself a little speaking challenge. Sometimes I recorded myself talking for 1 minute. Other times I described my day out loud, and whenever possible, I spoke with a real person online. These small, daily speaking habits made me braver. At first, my sentences were short and broken, but after weeks of practice, I noticed my thoughts came out faster and smoother. I want you to think about your own day. Where can you add small English habits? Maybe when you walk to school, you can listen to English. Maybe when you brush your teeth, you can practice a short sentence out loud. Maybe before bed, you can write 3 lines in English about your day. None of these take much time, but if you repeat them every day, they will change your fluency. Here's a challenge for you. Choose one habit right now, just one. Maybe it's listening for 10 minutes every morning, or maybe it's recording your voice for 1 minute every night. Write it down. Do it every day for the next 7 days. Don't worry if it feels small. Small habits, when repeated, create big results. Another important thing about habits is making them fun. If you force yourself to read something boring, you will quit. If you listen to something you hate, you won't continue. So choose material that excites you. If you love football, read football news in English. If you love music, read lyrics and sing along. If you love movies, watch your favorite scenes again and repeat the lines. Fun habits are easy to keep. I also learned to combine English with my daily life. For example, when I went shopping, I read product labels in English. When I used my phone, I changed the settings to English. When I wrote my to-do list, I wrote it in English. These small daily habits made English part of my world. I didn't need to study English anymore because I was living in it. The best part of building habits is that they reduce fear. When you speak English once a month, it feels scary. But when you speak English every day, even for 1 minute, it becomes normal. Fear disappears. Confidence grows. And you don't even realize how much progress you are making until one day you notice that speaking feels easy. So now you see how habits create fluency. But there's another piece of the puzzle. Habits and mindset are powerful, but you also need to create real opportunities to use English with other people. In the next part, I will share how I found ways to practice English in real conversations, and how those moments pushed my confidence to a whole new level. Part 7. So far, we've talked about mindset and habits. These are the foundations of confidence. But the real magic happens when you actually use English with people. For a long time, I avoided speaking with others because I was afraid of mistakes. I thought, what if they laugh at me? What if they don't understand me? But when I finally started practicing with real people, everything changed. Real conversations pushed me out of my comfort zone and made my English grow faster than ever. The first time I joined a conversation group online, I was terrified. My hands were shaking. I thought everyone would be better than me, and to be honest, many people did speak better English than me. But something surprising happened. Nobody laughed at my mistakes. In fact, some people made even more mistakes than I did. I realized that mistakes are just part of the process, and everyone is busy improving themselves. That moment gave me courage. One thing I learned quickly is that real practice is very different from studying alone. When you study grammar rules in a book, it feels safe. But when someone asks you a question in real time, you don't have time to think about rules. You just speak. At first, my sentences were messy. I used the wrong tense or forgot a word. But the more I practiced, the faster my brain reacted. It was like training a muscle. The more I used it, the stronger it became. I also discovered the power of small conversations. You don't need to join a big debate or give a long speech. Just saying, "Hello, how are you?" to someone online is a victory. Asking a simple question like, "What did you eat today?" is practice. These small exchanges build your confidence slowly but surely. Every little conversation adds to your fluency. Here's a quick dialogue example. Imagine you're in an online English group. You, "Hi, how's your day going?" Partner, "Pretty good. I just finished work." You, "Nice. What kind of work do you do?" Partner, "I'm a teacher." And you? You, "I'm a student. I'm trying to improve my English fast." Look how simple that is. No complex grammar, no perfect sentences, but it's real communication. And this kind of practice is worth more than hours of studying alone. Another way I practiced was by asking for help. Sometimes I would say, "Can you correct me if I say something wrong?" Most people were happy to help. Sometimes they corrected me, but many times they just understood me and kept going. And that's when I realized something important. Perfect grammar is not necessary for communication. What matters is that the other person understands you. Here's a challenge for you. This week, try to have one real conversation in English. It doesn't matter how short it is. It can be with a language partner, a friend online, or even a classmate. Don't focus on grammar. Focus on connection. Ask one question. Answer one question. That's all. If you do this once, you'll feel braver to do it again. I also learned that practice with real people is not only about language, it's also about confidence in life. Speaking English with strangers taught me to be bold. It taught me that mistakes don't destroy me. It showed me that I can connect with people from all over the world. That experience gave me confidence not only in English, but in myself as a person. Of course, it wasn't always easy. Sometimes I felt embarrassed. Sometimes I wanted to quit. But each conversation made me stronger. And over time, my fear disappeared. I started to enjoy speaking. I looked forward to conversations. I even began making jokes in English, something I never thought I could do before. So here's the big lesson. Confidence doesn't come before practice. Confidence comes from practice. The more you speak, the more confident you become. If you wait until you feel ready, you will never start. You just have to begin, even if it feels uncomfortable. That's the only way forward. And now that you know the power of real conversations, you might be asking, but how do I keep improving? How do I make sure I don't stop after just a few tries? In the next part, I'll show you how to keep your motivation strong, how to stay consistent, and how to make English part of your lifestyle forever. Part 8. Approximately 700 words paragraph form. We've now reached the last part of this journey together. You've seen how mindset, habits, and real conversations can completely change your English. But there's one last secret you need to know. Staying motivated and making English a natural part of your life. Because the truth is, learning English is not something you finish in 1 month or even 1 year. It's a lifelong journey. And if you want to keep growing, you need to keep your motivation alive. At the beginning of my journey, I felt excited. Every new word felt like a victory. But after a few weeks, I sometimes lost energy. I thought, why am I doing this? It feels so slow. That's normal. Everyone has moments when they feel tired or discouraged. The key is to have strategies that keep you going, even when motivation feels low. One of the best strategies is to track your progress. I kept a small notebook where I wrote down what I practiced each day. For example, I wrote, "Listen to English podcast for 10 minutes," or "had a 5-minute conversation." Looking back at the notebook after 1 month showed me that I had actually done a lot. Progress is easy to forget, but when you see it written down, it motivates you to keep moving. Another strategy is to celebrate small wins. Maybe you understood a new phrase in a movie. Celebrate it. Maybe you spoke one sentence without stopping. Celebrate it. Don't wait until you are fluent to feel proud. Every little step is part of fluency. When you celebrate, you train your brain to enjoy learning. And when you enjoy learning, you continue naturally. I also stayed motivated by connecting English with my goals. For example, I wanted to travel, so I imagined myself ordering food in another country. I wanted to meet new people, so I imagined myself having fun conversations with friends from around the world. When I felt tired, I reminded myself of these dreams. They pushed me forward. Another powerful tool is variety. If you always study the same way, you will get bored. So I mix things up. Some days I listen to music in English. Other days I watched YouTube videos. Sometimes I practiced speaking alone. Sometimes I chatted with people online. Variety kept things interesting, and it made my brain more flexible with English. Let me give you one more challenge. Choose one fun activity in English that you can do this week. Maybe watch a movie with subtitles. Maybe sing along with a song. Maybe play a video game in English. Do it not for study, but for fun. Because fun is the fuel that keeps motivation alive. And here's something really important. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at a different speed. Some people learn fast, others learn slowly. That's okay. This is your journey. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you a little better today? If yes, then you're on the right path. Looking back, I can see how much my life changed when I stopped caring about mistakes. I started with fear, but now I can speak English confidently. I can express my ideas. I can connect with people. And you can do the same. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be brave, consistent, and open to learning every day. So let's review what we learned in this video. First, change your mindset. Mistakes are not your enemy, they are your teacher. Second, build small habits. Practice a little every day. Third, find real conversations. Because confidence comes from speaking, not just studying. And finally, keep your motivation alive. Celebrate small wins, track your progress, and make English fun. If you follow these steps, your English will improve faster than you think. Your confidence will grow, and one day you will look back and say, "Wow, I can really speak English now." And remember, this journey never ends. The more you practice, the more doors will open in your life. So my final message to you is this: don't wait. Start today. Speak one sentence in English. Make one small habit. Find one short conversation. That's how you begin. And once you begin, confidence will follow. Thank you for watching and learning with me today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who also wants to learn English. Together, we can all grow and become confident English speakers. And now, it's your turn. Go practice, don't worry about mistakes, and let your English confidence grow fast.